This is the Doctor, President-elect of the High Council of Time Lords.
I am definitely a madman with a box.
Anyone for jelly, baby?
I'm the Doctor. I'm 904 years old. I'm from the planet Gallifrey in the constellation of Castabras.
Hey Who fans, and welcome to the Big Blue Box podcast. My name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And we are at episode 50!
The Big 5-0, hey!
50, baby.
Yes, nice one.
Feels like a cool little milestone.
It does.
50 episodes. I think it's actually a couple more than that.
Yeah, I suppose if you throw in the commentary ones we've done and stuff, it's a few more, isn't it? And the interviews.
And all that stuff.
All that stuff, yeah. But yeah, 50 of the main pod, that's pretty good going, isn't it?
Awesome.
I remember when you first said about jumping on and you were saying about doing one a week, and I was thinking, ooh, am I going to be able to do one a week? Yeah, no, it's all right, isn't it?
It's cool. So thank you guys for sticking with us for 50 episodes. It's awesome.
Yeah.
The Big 5-0.
That's it. And what an episode review we've got for the 50th as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a doozy.
It's going to be very interesting.
It's going to be cool. So I hope you guys have had a cracking couple of weeks. We didn't do a proper show last week, but we hope you enjoyed our catch-up and our hangout with Daphne.
Yeah, it was good fun, wasn't it? Really enjoyed talking to Daphne.
It was awesome, or Dashni, as I've been calling her.
Yep. Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And we're going to meet up with her, hopefully, at, is it Dimensions?
No, it's Phantom Events, I think it's called.
Phantom, right.
Phantom, yes, it's in Chiswick.
Oh, Chiswick, yeah.
Yeah.
Home of Donna Noble.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, good, nice tie-in. Yeah, yeah. It's quite good value actually. I've got my ticket for it now, so it's a tenner for the ticket, and you get a free autograph included in that. It doesn't say who with yet, so it could just be the doorman. But But no, normally they one of the guests you do get a free autograph included. So I'm really looking forward to that event actually. And it'd be great to meet Daphne again, wouldn't it, and have a chat. It's going to be really good.
Have a chinwag.
Yeah.
With our bestie.
That's it, our new best friend.
Yeah. So what have we been up to, Birdie?
Well, what have I been up to? Well, today I'm recording this. I'm coming to you live from a car in the middle of nowhere today. This is the only quiet place I could find because, for those of you who don't know, I'm staying at my sister's for a few weeks, which means sort of recording the podcast, we've sort of had to try and find places to do it. So today I'm in a car and I'm looking out across some fields and there's a couple of sheep in it. So it's all very picturesque. And, well, what I've been up to, I've had a few Funko Pops arrived, but they've arrived at my house, so I haven't actually physically seen them yet. So that's quite frustrating. My other half keeps sending me photos saying, oh, this has turned up. So there's all this stuff waiting for me for when I get back. But yeah, so that's good. I'm glad some of those have finally arrived. Did you manage to get any?
I did order one of them.
Just the one? Now, I'm going to guess. I think you will have gone... Oh, no, I was going to say Capaldi. No, I know exactly you've gone for. You've gone for 10, haven't you?
Nope.
Really? Oh, man, I would have put money on that.
Well, I'm going to order all of them at some point over the next few weeks, I guess. But I've ordered one... which I kind of a bit of an impulse thing, really. I just saw it on Twitter, then jumped on and ordered it, which was the Capaldi, exclusive in the orange spacesuit.
Oh, excellent! And it's actually arrived.
No, it's on its way. It should be here beginning of next week, apparently.
Yes, I really like the look of that one. I've ordered that one as well. I don't think mine's arrived yet. It's a really good one. Good choice. Yeah. I would have put money on you buying 10. See, I thought, being the 10 fan.
Yeah, that'll be one of the first ones, yeah. I think I'm going to go for the 10, the TARDIS, and maybe Baker. The Tom Baker one looks awesome.
He does look good. I quite like the variant of Baker, actually, with the grey coat or whatever, and the jelly babies. That's quite a nice little variant. Yeah. And I love the Matt Smith with the handles.
Oh, yeah, looks cool.
You've seen that one? That's another nice variant as well. He's slightly more expensive, but it's funny because, when we were talking about these, we were saying about where's best to buy them and all this, because they do seem to be a few stock issues with them. I kind of ended up, I'd ordered them all from Forbidden Planet, but as we all know, we've had issues with them. And it seems that certain shops sort of started getting them in dribs and drabs. So what I've been doing is as soon as I see someone's got them in, I've sort of cancelled them off Forbidden Planet and bought them straight away from that shop. So I've ended up getting like 3 from Forbidden Planet, 3 from BBC Shop.
Okay.
I got a couple of exclusives, I think, from Star Action Figures. So I sort of ended up buying them in dribs and drabs from different shops because different places seem to have got sort of different ones in. And it's so it's sort of I've been trying to sort of gradually get them all. So yeah, but I just, as I say, I haven't actually physically seen any of them yet. So I'm looking forward to getting home and unboxing them and then putting them straight back in the box.
Straight back, yeah.
I don't know. I will display them. I think they are really cool.
I think I will. Yeah, they do look very cool. I ordered mine from Forbidden Planet International.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah,
not the
other one.
Yeah, not the one with the rocket and stuff. Because I kind of boycotted those guys at the moment.
I ended up cancelling them all off of there actually because they just weren't getting them in.
Is this another rant? Is this rant time?
No. I'm
we
quite
need a jingle.
Happy. I mean,
we need a rant jingle.
Do we need some angry guitar or something, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
cool.
I'm furious with those guys at the moment.
Again.
Yeah.
What have they done?
Well, I don't know if you guys if I've chatted to any of you listeners or anything at all on Twitter about anything other than Doctor Who, you guys will know that my other love is Star Wars, but my other love, my third kind of love, if you like, is the whole DC thing, specifically Batman.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things that I really like out of all the Batman stuff is the original animated series. And they've released these line of sort of collectible figures, if you like, over the last year. And they've released the big original Batmobile from the cartoon, which is cool. And it was a thing that they showed at San Diego Comic-Con. I was like, wow, it's going to be cool, but it's going to be super expensive. I thought it was going to be like £300 or something. And it turns out that it was $99.
Wow, that's about 80 quid.
Yeah, I thought that's not too bad. Yeah. So I jumped on and had a look, and Forbidden Planet International are selling it for $79.99. And I thought, yeah, cool. I thought, let me just have a look at forbiddenplanet.com. No, £99.
Oh.
And I thought to myself, right, let me just test the waters here. So I got in touch with them and I said, look, you guys are selling this for £99. Even if you convert it from dollars, you're overpriced.
Yeah.
So would you price match with Forbidden Planet International? And I just got a flat no. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So see you later.
Yeah, no, exactly. Why? I mean, it's 20 quid more. Why would you even? Yeah.
It's not like it's like a pound less. If it was like a pound or a few quid, I'd be like, okay, I'll get it from there because I'll probably go there and get some comics anyway and stuff. But
exactly.
Yeah, but no. Another example of those guys just,
Another black mark for FP. It is confusing having two as well, isn't it? I have to sort of, whenever I'm moaning about Forbidden Planet, I have to sort of try and clarify not Forbidden Planet International because I haven't had any problems with FPI.
No, they seem okay.
Yeah, they seem all right. Well, look, listen, while we're having a rant then, I'll just get this off my chest. One thing that's burned my bacon, because I love that saying, mate. One thing that's burned my bacon last week was that the photo ops went on sale for the Doctor Who Festival.
Oh, Lord.
And anybody that knows me knows that I was really looking forward to getting a picture with Capaldi. That's all I wanted. I didn't really, I was thinking the festival, great, but I really just want to get that picture. And I was on there at 10 o'clock. I made sure I was there when they went on sale. In fact, I was on there way before that, just staring at the screen. I was really pumped up, ready to go. 10 o'clock, on sale, pressed it, basket, checkout, went to the actual main checkout bit, sold out. And that was 3 minutes past 10. So by the time I'd added it to the basket, gone to checkout, and went to put my details in, they'd come up as sold out. And I was just like, what? I was fuming.
That is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
3 minutes.
Literally. Well, it was 10. It was 3 minutes past 10 when I actually checked out. So because it was taking a while to load the page. That's all. You know what I mean? There was no hesitation. As soon as they were on sale, I was on there. So I was pretty annoyed about that. And to be honest with you, because of the price of the photos, he was the only one I was really tempted with because I did sort of think, oh well, I've missed out now. Shall I go for Michelle Gomez, but she'd already sold out as well. So that would have been, 5 past by the time I'd sort of ummed and ahed about that.
Yep.
There was some for Ingrid Oliver. And I thought, well, yes, I'd like a picture of Ingrid, but not £30 worth of want. So I didn't bother with that. I just thought I would have liked, if it had been 15, or maybe even 20, I probably would have thought, well, at least I'll come back for a photo on the day. Mm-hmm. But no, I wasn't going to pay 30 quid for it. So I ended up getting not a single photo op. So I was pretty annoyed about that because as there's going to be no autographs at this event, that was kind of the only thing I was really sort of looking forward to. I thought, oh, well, at least I might come back with a photo. So, yeah, a little bit peeved off about that, mate, because that now means we're going to a convention. I know we're going to have a great time, and I'm not going to knock it because it's going to be a good day. But I am a bit peeved that I'm going to be coming back from a convention with no autographs and no photo ops at all.
Does, yeah, it does.
Yeah,
suck.
so it does.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah, so I was a bit angry about that last week, but I've had a week to get over it. I've simmered down and things.
You've calmed down a bit now.
I have calmed down, but if you just seen me on the day, my cheeks were red.
I was going to get a photo as well because I was thinking, do you know what? I've already splashed out this amount for the ticket. In for a penny, in for a pound.
Yeah.
Let's just do the whole hog. I'll get a pick. And I was thinking, I'll give it a while. I'll just jump on but after hearing you with your very, very angry, oh man, I was like, well, that's just no point going on there to look for any photo ops then because it feels like the whole world jumped on the website at 10 o'clock and everything went. I mean, it's crazy. I know that the tickets sold out fairly quick, but I had no idea that the photo ops and stuff would sell out just as quick because if you think about it, it seems to be like everybody booked their ticket and then everybody moaned about the price.
Yeah.
Us included, admittedly.
Yeah.
But then everybody, as soon as the BBC were like, yeah, we're now going to do photo ops and stuff, everyone just goes into a frenzy. It's like, let's just do it.
Exactly.
Everyone, and it's just like let's just draw a line. Let anyone that's listening now, any other podcasters, anyone that's going to the festival or involved in some way, let's just draw a line in the sand now. No more moaning, no more bitching. The tickets have gone, the photos have gone. Let's just do it.
Yeah, although I don't want to put a dampener on this, but they are going to apparently announce some more guests with photo ops. So depending on who it is, might have to go through the whole thing again. But I don't know. I think the fact is, it's just that I was sort of beating myself up about it, but I was thinking there really wasn't any way I could have been on there any earlier, or it just seemed that it was sort of an impossibility. I think that's what I didn't like. It's like I didn't feel like I stood a chance, if you know what I mean, because I literally couldn't have done it any quicker.
No.
You know what I mean? But it's just one of those things. It's like the draw, and I think because me and you were going on the Saturday Dalek Day, I think that's the most popular because I was chatting with other Who fans afterwards who'd managed to get tickets, and a few of them were saying, oh, well, I'm going on the Friday. There's actually still photo ops with Capaldi on the Friday. And I was like, really? That was sort of like 20 minutes later. So it might just be that, we're going on the busiest day, which didn't help.
Yeah.
But overall, they did sell pretty quick. And he's only there for 45 minutes. His photo op is only from 2 o'clock to 2:45. So it's quite a small gap. I don't know how many people they'll manage to ram through in those 45 minutes. But yeah, it's quite a small window opportunity, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
anyway, yeah, we'll, like you said, let's draw a line. It's done. It's we're going to have a good day. We'll just it's going to be. We'll find a good cosplayer that looks like a Powdy. That'll do me.
That'll do.
Yeah, well, that'll do. In other news, just before we get into the main news, one big thing that happened last week, or was it the week before? Because obviously we had the interview last week.
Yeah.
We didn't get to talk about it. So we got a trailer for Series 9, and it was a pretty epic trailer, wasn't it?
It was very epic.
Yes.
In most forms, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't disappoint. In fact, I was surprised how long a trailer it was as well, because sometimes we just get like a little sort of 50-minute teaser, and this was like nearly 2 minutes, wasn't it? It was quite a long trailer.
Yeah, and it included quite a few things as well. Plenty of characters, a few locations as well, and a few of the typical kind of look to the camera, raise an eyebrow, frowny kind of things going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this series is going to be a lot better than Series 8.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling I think it's going to have a really good combination of like some darker stuff, which I quite like now and then. I don't think all of Doctor Who should be dark and all that stuff, but I think it's going to have some of those cool dark episodes. I think it's going to have some really cool, huge, epic action stuff as well. I think we're going to have a good mix of the two.
I'm hoping we get some really good sort of interesting ideas in it as well. Because, I mean, one of the things I loved about the trailer was that there seems to be lots of new stuff in there. There's some good new monsters that that look great.
Yeah.
There's a couple of bits, like you said, we've seen before. Saw the orange spacesuit again, which kind of did make me groan a little bit. I mean, I love the orange spacesuit, but I'm thinking we've kind of used that quite a bit. But overall, it did look really promising. I did groan when I first saw the Daleks, I have to say. I mean, I think, I never know if this is true. I wish someone could clarify this. Somebody said that they are contractually obliged to be in every series. I don't know if that's true. Okay. But I did sort of think, Daleks again. But then someone screenshotted it and you could see a classic Dalek, one of the old silver Daleks right in the corner of the screen. So that made me think, okay. So that looks promising. But overall, the whole look of it, the style of it, looks like we're going to see a lot more of Missy.
Yes.
By the sounds of it, and there's been rumours about Missy and what sort of part she's going to play in it, and it's looking like they might be true. I don't want to go into rumours because I don't want to go into spoilers, but it looks like we're going to see quite a bit of Missy, I reckon, in this one. Yeah, which is okay by me. And what was the other thing? And we got the girl at the end, this mysterious "What took you so long, old man?" And of course everyone's like, that was the bit that sort of exploded the internet most, wasn't it? Because everyone's like, is it Susan? Is it Jenny, his daughter? Is it is it someone else? Jack? No, but that's, I don't know, that was quite a nice little intriguing bit at the end. And that's Maisie Williams, isn't it? Yeah.
Best known from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. See, I feel a bit out of it because I don't really know who she is. I'm a bit out of the loop, but I know that she's very popular and people are going mad about it. So
yeah, she's cool.
Do you have any? Yeah. Do you think any theories on who she might be?
I don't know. The fact that she's referenced him as old man, I don't know. Have we heard that before? Have we heard the Doctor being called that before by anyone?
Well, no, I think that's why people immediately thought Susan, maybe.
Yeah, possibly.
I don't know, I just wonder if it might be River, which is a bit of a thing. Just because, she was Melody before, and I don't know. And I just think it's not going to be someone obvious, I don't think.
I don't think so.
Unless it's a young... no, I don't know. I'm intrigued.
Because we've had the whole thing with Amy, the girl who waited. We've had that whole story thing, haven't we, where she waited outside on her suitcase and then he turns up and, blah, blah, blah. That's that whole kind of, you're late, what took you so long, blah, 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 Raggedy Man, that whole kind of thing. So I don't think they would repeat that too much, where we've had someone, a companion or whoever it might be, who have just been waiting for the Doctor for a long, long time, and now it's all of a sudden, you're late, sort of thing. I don't know. I think it's going to be a lot more less obvious than what we think it is.
I think you're right. And he says it quite angrily, doesn't he? It's not like, if it was Susan, he'd be like, hello, but he's like, you, isn't he? He's like, he doesn't seem that pleased to see it. I don't know. But a nice little intriguing clip. Really sort of buzzing for Series 9. And it's going to be a bit later than we thought as well, isn't it? September 19th. Is that right?
Saturday the 19th.
Saturday the 19th. Yeah. What did I say?
That's what you said.
All right. I think I said December. Anyway, yes. September the 19th on a Saturday. So that's going to be really cool. Is that the... Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking we'll be at the convention when one of the episodes aired, won't we?
We will be, yes.
Yeah, because it's going to go out slightly later this year. So yes, all very good and exciting.
That will lead on nicely to a smaller gap between the end of the series and the Christmas special, I'm assuming.
Yeah, which is probably a good thing, actually, I think. Yep. Yeah, because it sounds like they might sort of have a bit more of a connection between the two from what we're hearing. So, yeah, probably be a good thing.
Yeah.
Right, buddy. We probably... waffled and ranted enough. I suppose you ought to get into the news, hadn't we?
Yes. Let's land it.
Let's land it. Lovely landing. Now, we ought to just clear this up. Has anyone guessed what's different about the sound effect? Because we said we were going to say what it was, didn't we?
Nobody has.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell them?
Yeah, it's really simple, actually. It's nothing too crazy. I hope we haven't built it up too much. When we first did the sound effects that we're going to introduce the news a while ago, the sound effect that I used for the TARDIS was actually the TARDIS taking off. Because we always say, let's land the TARDIS and we'll do the news. But before we did our whole kind of revamp and redesign thing months ago, I was using the takeoff TARDIS sound, which is obviously incorrect because we're landing it and we're not going off anywhere. Yeah. So the sound effect that we use now is actually the TARDIS landing.
So all our OCDs are all okay now. We can put up with it.
The universe is back to normality.
Because it's funny, because I am quite an OCD person, and I hadn't noticed until you pointed it out. And then as soon as you said, and you were like, "That's all right, I'm going to change it with Revo," I was thinking, "Oh, good," because I am quite OCD about silly things like that.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah. So there it is, mystery solved.
There you go. Rightio. First up in the news, that very lovely man, Mr. Colin Baker, is a happy chappy at the moment. His the project that he's currently involved in, which is a small self-funded short film, has reached its funding target, which is cool. So a project called Last Man on Earth it has been up on Indiegogo for a little while now, and they wanted to raise £10,000, and they're up to 10,670 at the moment.
Wow.
So they've literally just reached their target. So that's going to be in full swing. So those of you that don't know what this is, it's basically a very small team of people want to make this cool sounding little sci-fi film. It's about a pre-apocalyptic sci-fi thriller, which is basically about a team of virologists who are searching for a cure for cancer. But the film kind of delves into their psyches and the decisions that they make and the outcome based on that. And it stars old Sixie, Colin Baker. And he's very happy. There's a short video which we'll put a link to the Indiegogo page anyway, so you can read about the project and stuff. But he's put a very short video on from the rehearsals that are happening at the moment up in Manchester. And he's basically said that he gets loads of scripts through, and 99% of the time he reads them and is like, thanks, but no thanks. But for some reason, this one kind of it got him interested. So the rest is history.
It's all systems go. Yeah, that's great. Congratulations, Colin. That will be good. I love these little short independent things because they, like you said, they get more freedom with it, so they're always a bit more interesting, I think. Yeah. So yeah, I haven't seen the video, the little clip you're talking about. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it does look very cool. So we'll put the link on. Check it out. It's going to be cool.
Excellent. Okay, in other news, this is a bit of a no-brainer, but it is always nice to have these things confirmed. Series 10 of Doctor Who has been officially confirmed.
Yay.
It was kind of tucked away. It wasn't really sort of announced. It was like hidden away on page 32 of the BBC Worldwide Annual Review. So they sort of published it and tucked away in there. It just sort of mentioned that things have been commissioned, like The Musketeers, I think, is getting another series and all that. And in between all these announcements was Doctor Who Series 10. So, as I say, probably not the biggest surprise in the world, but it is nice just to have it on there. I'm assuming Capaldi will be the Doctor in Series 10. I get a feeling he's going to stick around for at least another series, wouldn't you think?
I would say so. At least one more. At least, yeah. But it is cool news because if you've been reading or watching the news over the last few weeks, there's been loads and loads of talk about annual reviews and audits and all sorts of stuff going on at the BBC.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of political stuff around it as well. So there's been things like, is the BBC going to be decommissioned and sold off privately? Is it going to be scaled down? Are they going to chop budgets? Are they going to do stuff with the license fee and all that kind of stuff? So when all that's happening, there is a very slight grey cloud over everything. So you think, are they going to disband this team and all that sort of stuff? I mean, fortunately for Doctor Who fans, Doctor Who seems to be quite isolated. It's all done in Wales, out the way. So, it's all kind of self-contained and can do its thing. It doesn't really rely upon anything else within the BBC, really, other than things like BBC Worldwide and location stuff, but in the main, it's okay. But there's always that very small thing, like, is it going to be affected by these potential budget cuts, or, are they going to chop the BBC down into sections and we're not going to have the same show? But at least for now, Series 10 is a go, which is cool.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I mean, it is one of those things, we assume it'll always be there, but you should never take it for granted, because there is so much political stuff goes on behind the scenes, isn't there?
Yeah.
Especially with the BBC. So yeah, never take it for granted. But it is great it's been confirmed. Yeah, sure. Agree with you.
Next up, we've got a little nugget that potentially is going to pop up for Series 9. And we've touched on this before briefly, and it's the whole thing about actors who have played parts in Doctor Who before and then have come back and do something else. So as all you guys know, Peter Capaldi has been involved with Doctor Who on the screen twice now, in Torchwood and in Doctor Who. And there was an interview or a very short snippet of something that Stephen Moffat had said months and months ago now about, I think it was in the Doctor Who magazine or something like that. Somebody said to him, how are you going to explain, or would you explain on the show how the Doctor or his appearance has popped up previously throughout Doctor Who, whether it's Torchwood or Doctor Who? And he had said, yes, we've got a plan for that, blah, 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 and nothing else was said. But now that we're getting closer to Series 9, there's been a bit more news. So it is going to be explained, which, to your opinion is good or bad, whatever. But it's not going to be like an in-your-face big, they're not going to make a big thing of it. So Stephen Moffat has gone to say that they're going to play that one out over time. So I don't think it's going to be a case of a whole episode dedicated to his character and how he's appeared before or anything like that. I think they're just going to make little references to things and little things that you would think, right, that's why, sort of thing. So good or bad? Do you want this explained, or would you rather just put it down to, yes, he was an actor that's appeared in it before?
Because he's not the first actor to have been in it and then cast as the Doctor. I'm not bothered about it being explained. I'm kind of intrigued. I mean, Peter Capaldi said something, didn't he, about Cecilia? No, how do you say it? What's the character he played?
Cecilius.
Yeah, Cecilius. Yeah, I always question that. I don't know why. Cecilius. Yeah, he sort of commented that he might make an appearance in Series 9, hasn't he?
Yeah, that was Capaldi. He said somebody said with regards to his Roman alter ego, which is Cecilius, he said, yes, there will be information on that. He may even appear again. And then Capaldi goes on to say that Cecilius will certainly be invoked.
Yeah.
But that's not really conclusive, so we don't really know, how explicit they're going to be with this, or if it should be. I'm guessing that it's going to be quite vague. Like, they're going to put like a little Easter egg in to reference that, and then we'll be like, oh yeah, that's cool. But
I'll be fine with that. I mean, I think that's how it should be, to be honest. I think any more than that, and you're actually sort of starting to dig yourself in a big hole, to be honest with you, because then you have to go back and try and explain, you might as well try and explain everything, like Colin being in it before he was the Doctor. So, I think, just the throwaway thing will be fine. I don't think we need to delve too much into it, unless they've got like a really amazing theory that, is going to be a game changer or whatever. But I think best just have it as a throwaway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you answer me very quickly? Because I thought I knew the answer to this, but I don't think I do. Freema, what was she in it before she was?
She was. She was in the Army of the Ghosts, I think. I believe. Yeah, I'm sure she's in the Cyberman. Is it Army of the Ghosts, the Cyberman and the Dalek story?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, I think she's in that as like an assistant. I seem to remember she had one of those headsets in Canary Wharf.
Oh yes, of course, yeah.
I think. Yeah. Someone might want to correct me, but I think that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, you are right. Yeah.
And then obviously she went to be on it. I think it was quite a small part. That I don't think she wasn't like a main character or anything, but they did reference it, didn't they? Yeah. Okay, so finally in the news, this was announced yesterday, I believe. The Magician's Apprentice is getting an advanced screening at the Edinburgh International Television Festival. So this is going to be, it's quite an advance as well. I mean, bit surprised by this news, to be honest with you, because it's going to be on the 27th of August. All the tickets have sold out. I would imagine they sold out incredibly quickly.
Yeah.
And it's going to be followed by a Q&A with guests to be announced. Now, I'm assuming, being Scotland, I would put money on Capaldi and probably Michelle Gomez being there.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a really cool event. But I am slightly concerned by the fact that's nearly a month before it airs on TV. And, I do like the odd spoiler, but, there's going to be a lot of spoilers going around after that, I would have thought. No matter how nicely they ask people not to. A month is a long time to sort of keep that in under wraps. Mm-hmm. So I'm slightly concerned about that, to be honest with you, just because it is such a big time before it actually airs on TV. But yeah,
I know what you mean. Normally, advanced screenings, they're typically a week before, or even a few days. So this is, when's this, the 27th? So yeah, you're right. It's almost a month before.
It's almost a month, yeah.
And I know that Moffat has asked fans before, the whole thing where I think our friend in the US got one of the box sets released a few weeks early.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Do you remember? And Stephen Moffat very, very kindly asked them to please keep all the spoilers and everything to yourself. And I think all you guys did, our American dudes.
Yeah, Fanda's pretty good, I have to say.
I think most of you guys did. You did take that on board. You're like, okay, cool, but we won't put any spoilers out, which is cool. So for this though, I'm not sure, because it's so close to. Well, we're saying it's roughly a month away, but still, it's relatively close in terms of the broadcast date. So maybe people are thinking, oh, it's going out soon anyway. This is what the crack is with. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty bummed that it's sold. I mean, I expected it to sell out anyway, but apparently this one sold out within minutes as well.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to need to start making friends on the inside.
Good idea. Yeah.
Because everything that we're looking at the moment is just bloody selling out within like 90 seconds.
Let's start pulling in some favours.
Yeah, let's start pulling in.
Who do we know?
Who do we know? Even if it's like the doorman somewhere. Let's do it.
Right, okay. I tell you one thing I did notice, actually, just looking at this, is it's only a 45-minute episode as well, because sometimes the series opener, because Deep Breath was a weird time, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Hour 10 or so. Oh, so yeah.
Something like that. It was around an hour, wasn't it?
But this is just a standard 45 minutes, which, to be honest with you, I think is good, because I sometimes think, that if it doesn't need to be any longer than 45 minutes, then don't try and push it, because there were bits in Deep Breath that could have quite easily been cut out and you wouldn't have missed them.
Yeah.
I quite liked Deep Breath, but it did feel like there were some scenes that just went on a little bit too long. So yeah, a 45-minute episode for the opener. Initially I was like, but actually the more I think about it, probably a good thing, actually.
Yeah, you make a good point there. One last thing on this is those people that are going to see it, you're going to have to wait even longer for the follow-up, because this is a two-parter, isn't it, the opener?
Oh, wow. Yeah, now I'd forgotten that.
Yeah, so you'll go and see this one, the advanced screening, and then you've got 3 and a bit weeks to wait until this gets repeated for you, basically. Then you've got another week on top of that before you get the second part.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Do you know, that's a really good point. That's why it's 45 minutes, isn't it? Because I'd completely forgotten it's a two-parter. Yeah.
That's a long time to see what happens.
It is.
Yeah.
Wow, good stuff. Right, so that's the news. Quite a bit.
We had quite a bit to go through.
Yeah, that's good.
Right, so review this week. This is going to be a cracker. We've been looking forward to doing this one for ages.
We have.
Now,
it's definitely a Marmite episode, isn't it?
It's definitely a Marmite episode. So, Adam, what are we going to be doing this week, or for episode 50?
I'll just stop dancing around the room. This week we are doing the 10th Doctor story, Love and Monsters.
Someone wants a word with you.
You upset my mum.
Great big absorbing creature from outer space, and You're having a go at me?
No one upsets my mum.
At last, the greatest feast of all, the Doctor.
Interesting. Sort of absorbatrix. Absorb clon, absorbaloff.
Absorbaloff, yes.
Is it me or is he a bit slivy?
Not from Raxacoricophalapatorius, are you?
No, I'm not the swine. I spit on them. I was born on their twin planet.
Really? What's the twin planet of Raxacoricophalapatorius?
Clom.
Clom.
Yes, and I'll return there victorious once I possess your travelling machine.
Well, that's never going to happen.
Oh, it will. You'll surrender yourself to me, Doctor, or this one dies. You see, I've read about you, Doctor. I've studied you. So passionate, so sweet. You wouldn't let an innocent man die. And I'll absorb him unless you give yourself to me.
Sweet, maybe. Passionate, I suppose, but don't ever mistake that for nice. Do what you want.
An Absorbaloff.
An Absorbaloff, that's the one.
Yeah. It's a nice place to go for sunny afternoon walks, you know.
Where?
Raxacoricophalapatorius.
Hey, well done. Nice one.
Nailed it.
Yeah. I'll just say Clom then.
Clom, yeah.
Clom, much easier.
Right. Love and Monsters.
Just before we kick off, actually, I do like that line from Elton when he's like, "Great big Zorbaloff thingy, and you're angering me." It's about the only, it's about the only bit of humour in this episode that I actually like. Anyway, yeah, let's kick off with a little synopsis. What's it about?
Yeah, synopsis. Right. So this is one of those Dr. Light episodes. And it's around the character of Elton Pope. And he is essentially looking. Well, he's giving us his story through like filmed footage, I guess.
Yeah.
He's like making a video diary or something.
A lot of it's to camera, isn't it?
Yeah. So, and he's basically telling us what's happened to him. So it started off with the opening bit is him finding the TARDIS, goes into his warehouse, and he sees the Doctor and Rose chasing down this really cool-looking alien.
It is good, isn't it? For considering it's only in that very short scene at the start, it actually looks pretty decent.
It's really good.
It's called a Hox or something. I can't remember.
Yeah,
Hoix. Yeah.
Yeah, and he kind of runs away, but we don't understand why, because we kind of pick up the story halfway through at this point, at the very beginning. But then it transpires that he's been looking for the Doctor for a long time because he saw him as a child. And then he joins up with these. He finds online this other woman who's also looking for the Doctor. Is it Ursula? Yeah.
Ursula, yeah.
Ursula, yeah. And then it turns out that some other people have been looking for the Doctor as well, and they form this kind of little gang, this group, who are going through the motions to investigate, to try and hunt him down, which they call themselves Linda. London Investigation and Detective Agency. But then it turns into a much more of a friendship thing where they start kind of phasing out their hunt for the Doctor and more about their own lives. So they form a band and they start doing sorts of crazy stuff. And then this guy turns up, Victor Kennedy, who claims that he can help them find the Doctor. He's basically saying, you've been slacking, what's going on? I can help you find him. Gives them loads of clues, they go off. It turns out that this guy, Victor, is actually an Absorbaloff, who we just heard in that clip. And he's basically picking off the team, the gang, one by one.
Yeah.
Until they find out who he is. And then the Doctor turns up at the end, kind of saves the day a little bit. And then Elton goes on his merry way, but with a memento, I guess.
Yeah, that's a nice way of putting it. Yes.
A memento, yeah. So that's the story in a nutshell. And it's very much made in... You can tell that this was directed and made by a completely different unit than would normally be doing the show, because I think what happened was the reason why they did this episode is because they had increased with the Christmas special. This had put the number of episodes in this series from 13 to 14. So Tennant and Piper and stuff all had to go off and start doing the Impossible Planet, the Satan Pit. So there was no time for them to do this episode, basically. So they cooked up this story and got a different production unit to do it and stuff, and then Tennant and Piper just pop up a couple of bits. So it's very different. It's something that we haven't really seen at this point in the series. It's certainly nothing was like this in series 1, was it?
No, not at all. I mean, it's a very, very unusual episode, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's different in more ways than one. It tries to be very humorous, and it's very concentrates on another world, if you like. It's the one thing they have done very well, I think, is they've got this whole other side to the world that you don't really see much. You've got like the everyday lives of these people who are trying to get into that whole thing with the Doctor, but they're just kind of living their everyday lives really and just getting on and having a good time with each other and stuff. And it's only when the Doctor and Rose appear that things start to go a bit nuts, and then obviously with the Absorbaloff. But yeah. So what did you think to this, Adam?
Well, it's just strange. I love the fact that it is different. I just like the fact that they are giving us, like you said, a different perspective. And like you just said about the production, I think that's quite interesting as well, how this actually came about. And also the Absorbaloff was a Blue Peter design, wasn't it? So I mean, that kind of had to be incorporated into it.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder sort of where this started in terms of like you said, obviously David Tennant and Billie Piper couldn't really feature much in it because of production. But I wonder if there was at one point, a totally different sort of version of this story where they were featured much more heavily, and whether that would have worked better. Because I think the actual idea behind it, I like this little group that we know, and there are elements to this story which I think are, really, really cool. But there are bits of it that just, it doesn't hang together for me. And I wonder if that would have been better if we had more of the Doctor and Rose in it, a bit more interaction. Yeah. But I do like the idea of the story. I like the fact we've got this little group. And it takes time. I mean, the problem with it is that it takes time to try and introduce the characters in a short space of time, doesn't it? So, we're getting to meet this group, and they want the viewer to care about them, because obviously, like you said, they're going to get picked off one by one. If you didn't care about the group, then the story would fall completely flat. And for a lot of people, it does. But I personally do like the cast, and I do like the little group of Linda. But yeah, as an overall sort of story, it doesn't really hit the mark for me, to be honest. And there's quite a few reasons why, which we'll go into. But yeah, that's my feeling on it. And it's just a really strange one. I don't know what to make of it, basically. Even now, and this is probably the 4th time I've watched it, I really just don't know what to make of it. There are bits I like and bits I really don't like. Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
I really like this episode.
Do you?
Yeah. I think I'm going to be hugely in the minority. But there's something about it that I really like. I think I just like the whole idea of a bunch of normal people forming like a little gang going after the Doctor, and trying to track him down. And I don't know, it's just got a real feel good thing to it for me. It's got like when the 4 of them all form Linda. You see them just having a really cool time, and then there's like relationships come as part of that as well.
Yeah.
Is it 5 of them? Sorry. No, 5. Yeah, 5. And I really, really like that. I really like the whole thing. And I really like the way it's made as well. I like this whole video diary thing, and this thing where he's talking into the computer a lot. And I really, really like that. It's really cool. And there are some parts of it that do let it down for me. I think Peter Kay is pretty bad in this, I'll be honest with you. I don't think that he's the best. He should stick to stand-up.
He's a big fan, isn't he? I think he actually asked if he could be in it. I think he wrote to Russell T and said, I'd love to be in Doctor Who, because I think he's gone on record as saying he's really gutted that he's in an episode that is considered so bad.
Yes.
Because he's a big fan of the show, I think. Yeah.
But, he's not, he's really not that good. I mean, he's not terrible. There's been a lot worse people in Doctor Who over the years, but he's not, he's just not really, I don't know, he's kind of, I think he's just trying a bit too hard with it sometimes. He's a a bit of overacting and possibly.
Yeah, that's exactly what I put actually. That he's because I do think he's trying quite hard. But yeah, like you just said, I think he's trying too hard. It just he just doesn't really come across that well in it. Especially when he's at the Azorbeloff. I mean, he's really hindered by that, by that costume and stuff, and also the accent suddenly comes through because I think that's the thing. When he's Victor Kennedy, he's trying to talk in a different accent, isn't he, from his sort of native sort of accent? So he's quite sort of posh and everything. And then when he turns into Azorbeloff, he's speaking like he normally does, but with they've sort of treated it. So it's a really strange, thing. Really,
that is strange. Yeah, but it's kind of cool. There are also some other little bits in it that didn't really quite click with me. Like some of the effects weren't great, but then there's two parts to that. First of all, for a large portion of Doctor Who, the effects are never that great. You kind of expect it at times, and then second of all, I get the feeling that this particular episode was done on a really small budget.
Yeah, I think
mega
so.
small, yeah, because it's done a lot of it's done in just like his bed sit or just a warehouse somewhere. There's not really anything else in terms of locations going on, is there? I mean, I know they've used footage of him like walking around town, and they've used other bits and pieces of like previous episodes. They just reused some footage and stuff like that. So I'm assuming that the budget was very small for this one.
That's one of the things I do like actually, is that I do like the fact it ties in with quite a lot of the other episodes, because I think, where do we get? We get the Autons. Do we see the Sycorax ship? I think.
Yeah, we do. Yep.
Yeah. What's the other one? Oh, the Big Ben, the spaceship going into Big Ben.
Yep.
So it is nice because we sort of see those episodes, but from Elton's sort of viewpoint, and it is quite nice having them all tied in, to this, and obviously that's the reason he's sort of very obsessed with the Doctor, and this whole thing that he remembers waking up and seeing the Doctor in his house as well. I like that idea because that's quite an unusual sort of mystery. Yeah,
and we get to see a bit of Jackie, full on flirt. Really
for me,
going for it.
For me, Jackie is the best thing about this. I think she's brilliant in it, and she's not in it that much, but I love Jackie in this episode.
She's good.
She's funny when she needs to be funny, like with all the flirting and throwing the wine over him and and all that, and actually one of the scenes I do really like in this. Is the scene in the laundrette where he's trying to think of everything he thinks. He's like, right, I've got to try and, get inside her house. And she's like, why don't you come and mend my washing machine? Like, that scene's great. Or, the way and that's down to Jackie. I think she's brilliant in it. And also when she does discover the photo of Rose and she's really upset, she feels used in that. I just think she's really good. I really like Jackie.
She's cool in this. Yeah.
Camille. Yeah. And I thought she was good in the episode. As I say, she's not in it that much, but she's really good in the scene she's in. I quite like Mark Warren as well. Elton. I think
he's cool.
Yeah, I like him. Yeah, I know him sort of mainly from Hustle. Don't know if you ever watched that, but he, I think he was really good casting actually.
Yeah.
Because I did read. I don't know if this is true, but I did read on Wikipedia that when Peter Kay asked if he could be in an episode, they offered him the role of Elton, which I can't imagine at all. I mean, I just can't imagine Peter Kay playing that part, because I think Mark Warren is really good casting. He's a bit of a lad, bit geeky, but sort of suits it really, really well, I think. And he does make the episode work. He
does. He is cool. He's got this funny kind of quality to him. He's got this just a simple life. He's just, because he does mention it a couple of times, especially at the end, doesn't he? Because you get the feeling that at the beginning of the episode, he's very much just playing out life as the world expects you to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's got his little job and stuff. Yeah,
and at the end, he gives that nice little speech about the world expects you to grow up, get a job, get married, have a kid, and all that stuff. But then he says like the world's a lot darker than that and a lot stranger and stuff. So there's kind of this progression for his character right at the end as well. You get the feeling that at the very end his eyes are a lot wider to the world, and he's a lot more wiser, about what's going on. And I like that, how that's written. At the very beginning, he's very naive and doesn't really know what's going on, and then at the end, he seems like he's grown a lot, as a person.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And also the relationship he sort of starts forming with Ursula as well is quite believable, actually, because I like that, because they meet over the internet because of they're both searching out the Doctor, and obviously being in the group, they sort of get to sort of bond, don't they?
Yeah.
And I don't know, they do sort of, I can believe it. I can believe that they're sort of quite a sweet little couple. And obviously she meets quite a gruesome end. But yeah, again, she's not bad casting. I remember finding her really annoying on the
Her
first
voice.
watch, but actually watching it again last night, I actually found the two of them quite good together. But yeah, it's strange, isn't it? I remember thinking, oh, as soon as she appeared on screen, I was like, oh, her. But actually, she's not that bad. I think she's all right.
She's cool. She's Moaning
She's been
Myrtle
accusing.
from Harry
That's
Potter.
it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Does she really speak like that? Is that her?
Yeah, that's kind of her natural voice. Yeah, I think in Harry Potter, she's very much. She takes it up a few notches. She's very high pitched and squeaky and stuff. But I think in this, that's her actual voice. I think, she's quite cool. I haven't seen the characters of Bliss and Bridget. So Catherine Drysdale and Moya Brady. I haven't seen them in anything else. I'm pretty sure they've obviously been in other things, but I've not seen them in anything. The only guy I've seen is Mr. Skinner. He was in Alan Partridge.
Yes, I always think of him as Alan Partridge.
The
Yeah,
Geordie guy. Yeah. But the other two I haven't really seen. So it's good that they've got some of them, a mix of people who have been in some stuff and some fresh faces, I guess.
yeah. So I think there is a lot in here to like, isn't there? But you like it a lot more than me. I mean, there are bits in it I really do enjoy, but just it doesn't hang together as a episode for me. But some people do really, really dislike this episode.
Oh yeah.
And why do you think that is?
Yeah. You saying that, we're going to come on to some interesting comments in a little while, but I think a lot of people dislike it because originally, when I thought about this the other day after I watched it for the first when I rewatched it for the first time the other day, I thought to myself, why is it hated so much?
Yeah.
I don't really use that word a lot, but there are a large portion of Doctor Who fans that actually hate this episode.
Yes. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And I think it's a combination of, and I really don't want to target and single out Peter Kay because I know he listens, but I think a lot of people really dislike the Victor Kennedy Absorbaloff thing. I think he just doesn't. I mean, like I said, he's not the strongest point for me in this episode. I think that the casting was a bit off there. And I'm not really a fan of the whole accent thing and his costume and stuff. It's really not that great. But I think a lot of people really don't like his character at all. And I think the other thing is the looseness and the kind of the whole Linda thing and the group, and they don't really. Maybe it's a psychological thing. Maybe it's a depressing thing that as a group they don't really achieve much. Because they form this group and you really get into it and you think, yeah, this is cool. They're forming a little gang. It's all great. And then they get picked off one by one. And the only person left is Elton.
Yeah.
So maybe it's got that. Because earlier on I said it's got a real feel-good thing to it. And I mean that in a way that halfway through the episode, when they first form that gang, it's really cool. I love that. And then right at the very end, it's got that feel-good thing with Elton just accepting the fact that, we are where we are. The others have gone, but at least I've got a little bit to remember. I've got Ursula as a paving slab. So yeah, I think maybe it's a thing where people are like, this Absorbaloff guy is not the best monster we've seen on Doctor Who, but he manages to to take out the cool team that we've had, and the Doctor doesn't really do much in it. Because this was was this the first Doctor Light episode?
I think so.
This kind of trend, because they went on to do Blink and some other bits.
Left.
Yeah. So I think that's what it is. I think combination of people don't really like the Absorbaloff or Peter Kay as Victor Kennedy, and the whole story maybe just is a bit wishy-washy, and it's a bit kind of nothing really happens. It starts off well with good intentions, but then they all just get eaten and that's it.
Yeah, I think. You're absolutely right. I mean, when I watched it again yesterday, that was my feelings on it as well, because it does start off quite well. Like you said, I like the bit with the group with Linda and get to know them. I think it is pretty much it seems to take a turn for the worse when Peter Kay turns up, because he's a bit pantomime as Victor Kennedy.
Yeah.
And then when he's the Azorbeloff, it's kind of just cringy. And I don't like the humour we get when he's absorbing people, like one of them's on his backside and there's a fart, and it's just that's where the episode starts to fall down for me. So it is really when the Azorbeloff comes into it that I think the episode starts to sort of fall apart a bit. Yeah, because I like all the stuff leading up to it. I love the sort of groups that we get to know. As I say, I do like the people that were picked. I do like the casting. It's one of the notes I made. I think the casting is good because I do sort of like them. Do like the characters, even though we only sort of get a real short time to get to know them. And I think Mark Warren's good. But it is, I think as soon as we sort of start getting to the Azorbeloff, and there's some humour in this that I do like the scene in the laundrette, and I love all the stuff with Elton and Jackie. Really like those scenes when they're getting to know each other and all the flirting and stuff. And it's even when she finds the picture, it's slightly emotional. It's a good that bit's all good. But yeah, for me, it just doesn't. When we get all the Azorbeloff stuff, and then I actually don't really like the intro bit either. Actually, while I'm thinking about it, the chase scene, when they're running, it's really kiddie.
Scooby-Doo
I was groaning at that, I have to say. So I don't know. There's the bits like that. It just doesn't. That's why it doesn't hang together as a great episode for me, because you've got that sort of. There's humour in it that works, and there's humour in it that really, really doesn't work for me. And it's the whole thing with the face. I mean, obviously, we will come on to the talking of humour in brackets. The line at the end with the paving slab. Obviously, Ursula's trapped in the paving slab. I still, to this day, think the line about we still have a bit of a love life is just not necessary. I mean, it's just not. Every time I watch it, I just think, why?
Yeah, a lot of people mention this actually, and we had a few people mention this in the comments as well.
Does it make you smirk, laugh?
Well,
I mean, I
just
groan.
Do you know what? I think that's more an indication or a reflection of how you are as a person, how you view that comment. I think if you're the sort of person that views this episode as very light-hearted and quite upfront, kind of friendly. There's no hidden agendas to this episode. It's not a dark one or anything like that. I think that comment at the end, you would take it as just okay, yeah, fine. I think a lot of people read into that comment a bit too far, and I think you know where I'm going with this. Let's not get too explicit.
No.
But I think a lot of people assume or read into that when he says we have a bit of a love life, that it's
Let's just say, I mean, maybe I've got a filthy mind, but that's certainly how I read it. And I don't know. I just don't think it needed. For me, it was just an unnecessary line. I don't think it needs to be in a kids show. But I mean, I'm not really a prude, but even the first time I watched it, I was a bit like, what? I don't know. It doesn't get, it's not a big deal, but I just don't think it was unnecessary. Quick. It's almost as if Russell just couldn't resist it.
He's a filthy bugger. Anyway,
well, he is.
Yeah.
And I love Russell, but yeah.
Do you know what? There's half of me that thinks, I agree with you totally. That doesn't really need to be in there. It just doesn't.
You're glad it is.
Do you know what it is, though? I think it's just the way that he says it. When he's looking at the paving slab and he's just got this cheeky, straight face, he just looks up and says it. And it's just, I think it's quite cool. And I don't mean that in a dirty way, because I don't see that comment as that. But I do think it's a cool little thing. But yes, also, it doesn't really need to be in there.
There's a couple of other bits that slightly miff me, if you like. I'm not too sure. The first one is the way they defeat the Absorbaloff, because he's absorbed these people, but it would seem that he's only absorbed the people we've got to know, and then they realise that they've still got a will, and inside,
okay.
so they can sort of still control him, which I didn't really get, because surely if a species was that easy to defeat, they wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes, if you see what I mean. I was thinking, well, he's very easily defeated, and then they just break the cane. The other thing I don't get, and this one actually has always bugged me, is the fact the Doctor's just stood in Elton's bedroom when he's a kid next to his dead mum, because obviously that's the big reveal. The whole story sort of builds up to why does Elton remember the Doctor in his house, and then at the end we find out it's actually he's stood next to his dead mum who's lying dead on the floor, and the Doctor's just kind of staring out of the window. But
Right.
I find that really odd, because A, the Doctor's just stood there next to this dead woman on the floor. B, he's just seen the mother's kid come in. C, the kid would probably assume that the Doctor had killed her because he's just a kid. That whole bit doesn't work for me. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, it's a bit.
It needed the Doctor to sort of say something at that point, because literally, I know it's a Doctor-like episode, but he was obviously there to film that scene. There should have been a little line or something there, because all the Doctor does is turn and look at him.
Yeah.
I suppose you can assume that he went on to say stuff, but the whole thing is that Elton doesn't know why he's there, so we assume that the Doctor just walked off or something. That bit doesn't work for me at all.
Yeah, that maybe needed a bit more fleshing out.
I think so.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Any other myth points? Any other?
No, to be honest, that's the only one that bugged me, because when I was watching it again yesterday, I was thinking maybe, because, the mind plays tricks, thinking maybe it's not as unclear as I remember. So that's why I sort of wrote it down, because it still is. I still think it's a bit of a weak sort of conclusion to it, just the way it's done. I just think it could have been written slightly better, that's all.
Yeah.
Like you said, it needed just a little bit of flesh. And I probably would have only taken a line or two, even if he'd have just sort of bent down and spoke to him or something. It's just the fact that she's just lying there cold on the floor with the Doctor staring out the window. I just find it a really unusual scene, if you know what I mean. It doesn't work for me. But yeah,
Okay.
But no, that's it really. I mean, as I say, it's a real mixed bag. And when it comes to scoring this, and even now, I have no idea what to score this episode, because there are bits of it I love and there are bits of it I hate. In fact, this episode for me, I'm going to rename it Love and Hate, because it is genuinely how I feel about it. There are some bits about it I think are great, and there are just some bits that I just think are dreadful.
Yeah.
So I really don't know. I've really, really struggled to score this one.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah. One of the myth points for me is the alien at the beginning, the Hoiks.
Oh yeah.
I think they've missed a trick with that, because when you first see, when he first opens the door.
When it growls.
And it roars.
Yeah.
And also, like, the makeup is brilliant. It's like, and also the sound effect as well. And just the way that they've done it, they've completely nailed it. It looks like a really awesome looking alien, like really threatening, really scary almost.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, what is going on? Because there has been episodes, not just in this series, but since Doctor Who came back, where you think you could have done that costume a bit better. You could have put a bit more money and a bit more time to make that look a bit better. And then they've used this one alien for like a few minutes of the episode, and it looks just awesome. If you take away like the whole stupid comedy Scooby-Doo running across things, if you ignore that bit and just the bit where Elton opens the door and that alien just screams in his face, it just looks so good. And I wish they'd have used that alien more, or at least have another appearance at some point since that series.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's really odd, isn't it? Because I mean, it's not even as if it's just the head is good. The whole costume is brilliant. Like the whole design of it is really, really good. It does seem odd for something that was going to be used for such a short space of time. Yeah, it didn't. I wonder if it appeared in Torchwood or something. Did it? No, it might be my. But it. No, I don't think it did. I'm thinking of the Weevil, I think. Perhaps getting confused between that. But yeah, I think I agree with you with that. It's a bit of a wasted opportunity. Yeah, maybe we'll see him again. I do think one other note I've just noticed actually is the direction of it. I can't remember the director's name. Perhaps you've got it, Tam, but I do like the way it's shot and filmed. I thought the direction was really good on this one.
Yeah, Dan Zeff.
I don't know if has he done any other episodes? Do you know?
He has done. Oh, has he?
Because the reason I say that is when it came up on the screen, it wasn't a name I recognised, if you know what I mean. I remember thinking, who?
Oh,
but
no, he hasn't. No.
So that was his only one.
Yep.
Probably because of what you're saying about the way it was, how the production came about, perhaps. But I think he does a really good job. It is very nicely filmed, this
cool.
episode. The way it cuts, and everything. It's that is one of the things I do think is good about it.
Yeah, and before we get on to scores, the last thing that I thought was quite cool about this is the soundtrack with the whole ELO thing. I think that adds a real nice, quirky, and it provides a bit more of personality to the episode, because Elton's obviously, he actually says he's you can't beat a bit of ELO. And then we have a few songs. I think we have 2 or 3 songs from ELO in this.
Yeah.
And they're really cool. They're really cool, uplifting, cool kind of songs. So I like that this episode's got a soundtrack to it as well.
Yeah, so cool. I agree with you actually. Yeah, it does give it a real good sort of feel good factor. Especially when they start when they form the group Musical Linda. And they start sort of playing the song as well. Yeah, it does. It does add to it. And it's quite brave actually, because a lot of the time there's a lot of copyright issues, isn't there, when any program includes music for future repeats and sales. So they must have sort of got good clearance for it to actually. Yeah. Because I was thinking this when I was watching yesterday. I was thinking it's good that they haven't had to sort of cut this out, because I can remember when they made a drama starring Christopher Eccleston about John Lennon, and it had all the Beatles music in it. And when I bought the DVD, it's got no Beatles music in it at all. Oh yeah. And it's really bizarre. They've had to totally redub it with different music, and it's just really odd to have a Beatles drama with no Beatles music in it that was in it when it was shown on TV. So so I'm glad. Yeah, and it happens a lot. So I was thinking this yesterday. It is good that it's as it was when it was shown, and because I think it's perfect for the story. Like you said, the ELO soundtrack. Like if they'd have had to have sort of changed it for the DVD release or whatever, it wouldn't have been so good. They had to do it with Life on Mars as well. Do you remember how many great songs that had in it? And when that got released on DVD, there was loads of clearance issues, and so just sort of picking up on your point. Yeah, it is good, and it does work really well in the story. I think the ELO and a snippet of Elton. Get about 2 seconds of Elton, don't we?
Yeah.
Which is good. They didn't have to cut that as well.
Scores on the doors.
I hope it's your turn to go first, because I don't know.
No, it's your turn, mate.
It's not.
Yep.
Is it?
Yep. It's your turn. Do you want me to go first? Do you want a few seconds more deliberation?
No, I'll tell you what. I'll go first. I'll tell you for why. Because if you give your score, I might be tempted to change it, because as I say, I don't know what to score this, and what I've written down is 5 out of 10, because I just thought I'll go in the middle, because as I say, it is really 50-50 for me, this one. There's so many bits I like about it. I do love the fact it's different, that they're trying a different format. I do like the cast, and I do like certain elements, but it's very 50-50 for me. So 5 out of 10.
You're going 5. Okay. I'm going to go with 6.
Okay, I thought you might go higher.
No, I don't want to go. Don't get me wrong. Although, when I say I like this episode, it's not anywhere near some of the, the better episodes of this series.
But it's one you enjoy watching.
But it's one that I enjoy watching. And also, it's not one of those things where, right. You know how we said this before, like, we've got an evening free, let's watch a couple of Doctor Who's. It's not one that I would automatically go and pick off the shelf. Put it that way. However, if it's on TV or whatever, I'll watch it. I won't turn it off or anything. So I think a 6 for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I certainly don't think it's as bad as it gets such a bad rap to now. I certainly don't think it's as bad as the rap it gets anyway. Yeah.
Okay. Rightio, we've got some cracking comments from you guys. Right, we've got quite a few here, so let's try and get through them. First of all, we had you guys have been favouring Facebook recently, but there was one on Twitter, which was our friend Cousins 2019. He said. Love and Monsters is one of my guilty pleasures. I don't see why people hate on the story, because personally I think it's a good story. I know Peter Kay as the monster is terrible, but apart from that, it is a good character development for Jackie, and apparently Elton was supposed to come back in Stolen Earth Journey's End.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. Okay.
Yeah. And then on Facebook, and I love the picture that you selected for this, Adam. It's very cool. So we have Matt.
Yeah, because it is kind of like, what, sort of like what is him just sort of putting his arms out as if to say, "Come on, then," isn't it? That's why
this is my true form. Right. So Matt from Who Alex Reviews.
Oh, what does he say?
Where do I start? What a pile of rubbish.
Oh.
What was going through Russell's mind? Love and Monsters is the most pointless, stupid episode ever. The group of Linda and Elton weren't likeable whatsoever, and the Absorbaloff, the frickin' Absorbaloff. What the hell was that? And I'm saying that in a way because he's been very angry with the capital letters.
Right.
Casting Peter Kay was stupid to begin with, but the design of the Absorbaloff was ridiculous. No offence to the kid who designed it on Blue Peter, but come on. It's almost as if the writers were trying to make this episode bad. Stupid, boring, pointless. What were they smoking while making this? 2 out of 10 without the Absorbaloff, but with the Absorbaloff, -1 out of 10.
Wow, that is savage.
Yeah.
Matt. That is savage.
I think that's the harshest we've seen you go.
Yeah, it wasn't even that harsh on Time of the Rani, and that's saying something.
And so I really need to say Absorbaloff properly because it's mentioned a lot in these comments. Right. Companions of the Doctor. A mixed bag to be sure. There are many things to like about this episode. Elton Pope, Linda, a lovely turn by Jackie Tyler, and the ELO soundtrack. Had the focus remained on those elements, it might have been regarded as It might have been rated as an underrated gem. However, once Peter Kay's Absorbaloff enters the picture, the story begins to fall apart. Topped off by one of the most inappropriate gags ever to appear in Doctor Who. I'm giving this one 6 out of 10. Jelly babies.
Yeah. No, that's good. I think he's summed it up there, yeah.
Yep. Nick English. I love this episode idea premise of the story, but up until the point the monster was revealed. The idea of the monster and the absorbing them I am fine with. I just wish the character design would have been less disgusting and creepy.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the point because it is memorable and we never forget this episode because it gives us the heebie-jeebies. I guess I give them a pat on the back for pushing the envelope. 7 out of 10 for the first part, 3 out of 10 for the monster, so I'm in the middle at 5 out of 10.
Okay.
Yes. And he's put a quick edit afterwards. Upon reading the rest of these comments, I did not know there was a contest for the monster, but I still stand by my rating. Ben Smith. Oh dear Lord. This has to be the worst ever Doctor Who story ever. The Scooby-Doo style chase scenes, the dreadful monster, the rubbish attempts at humour, the love life with a paving slab, the out of nowhere resolution with the cane, Jackie, and just the whole style of the story with the webcam and narration was awful. It seems it was written by the same child who drew the monster. I guess they were at least trying something new, but it failed in the worst possible way. -1,000 out of 10.
Okay.
I think that's got to be the worst, the lowest rating that we've had.
That is, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the lowest.
Yeah, -1,000. Okay, Joe Oliver. I'm super biased on this episode because I entered that Blue Peter competition. Still say my killer teddy bears were better. Positives, however. Monster was interesting, plot carries well, and despite the lack of Doctor, the main characters were interesting. Negatives. Peter Kay acting was atrocious and way too comedic. The whole bit with Jackie was just cringy. One of the worst endings to an episode of Doctor Who.
Okay.
Yes, Jay Kent. I don't majorly hate this episode. Some people do. Mainly because when I was younger, I loved it. I think it had the perfect balance between emotional and funny. But as I grew up and started to have more common sense, I could see the obvious flaws. Like the imagery of a fat alien with a mohawk running down a back alley, or the implied romantic and sexual relationship between a man and a paving slab. So while it may not be the best of episodes, it nicely caters for the show's younger demographic, especially to calm them down and relax them after the devil possesses everyone episode. So I'll give this one 5 out of 10.
Okay.
Lewis Palmer. Love and Monsters. What can you say about it? I quite like it. As a Doctor Who story, it's not good, but as a piece of TV on its own right, it's pretty good. It's got interesting characters, nice recreations of scenes from Series 1, and apart from the suggested fun time, shall we say, at the end, it's really just harmless kids' fun. Yeah, I can see your point.
It's funny how many people remember that line, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's just one little throwaway line at the end, but it does always get remembered.
Yep. Lewis Palmer. No, I just read that. Tom Dix. Upon first viewing, I hated it. However, when I rewatched it from the perspective of a TV drama rather than a Doctor Who episode, I found I enjoyed it more. It's a nice little story. However, it could have been done so much better. And less said about this. Less said about the Absorbaloff, the better. Jeff Waddle.
Hello, Jeff.
This was me out.
Oh,
an absolute joke of a story, compounded by the awful joke about having a sex life with a paving slab. This was a season where they deliberately made Tennant Piper smug. Good luck to them. It made the era unwatchable for me, and I never recovered. Awful.
Oh,
dear.
Jeff.
Dean Jones. Interesting premise, but terrible in execution. Mark Warren does his best as Elton. The supporting cast were decent. Linda as a group are fun to watch, but as soon as Victor Kennedy enters the story, it falls apart very quickly. The Absorbaloff was one of the worst things to appear in the series, but you can't beat a bit of the ELO. 4 out of 10.
I think we're seeing a common thing here, aren't we?
We are, yep. Jeff Hanshaw didn't give us a comment. He just posted a picture of a character from the Austin Powers movie. Just said, the villain reminded me of this guy. And it's Fat Bastard.
Oh, yes. I'm just looking at the picture now.
Yeah.
There's definitely a similarity there.
Yeah.
It's a baby.
Get in my belly.
Yes, I can see where he's coming from.
Yeah. Scott, whenever came there. Okay. Right. Yanto Williams.
Yanto.
I think he should have gone to Fat Fighters. No, seriously, I loved this episode. It's basically showing what us Whovians would do if the Doctor was real. Interesting comment, Yanto. Thank you very much. We're getting through them now, not long. Ryan Anthony. As you'll all be aware by now, I'm known for writing long essays worth of Doctor Who reviews, especially the ones I hugely dislike. However, this episode was so goddamn pathetic, I am drawn to share my opinions of this story in 3 words. Awful, embarrassing, cringeworthy. 3 out of 10. No, actually 2 out of 10. I agree. Too fair on that piece of junk. How about 0 out of 10?
Oh my God, wow.
Kate Johnson. I know everyone else hates this episode, but I thought it was fun. I especially rate it higher when I saw that the silly monster was designed by a kid who had entered a contest. 6 out of 10.
Okay.
I think I agree with you the most, Kate. Out of all the comments, I think it's just meant to be viewed as a bit of fun and not meant to be read too much into. And yeah, I think it's lighthearted and people try and make it a bit darker than what it actually is intended to be. Anyway, Stuart Stockwin. Adam, you know when you sarcastically said that I'm going to love this one? Well, you're right, I do.
Oh.
I guess it's my guilty pleasure. I like the idea of ordinary humans trying to find the Doctor. I like the Scooby-Doo chasing scene as it takes me back to my childhood. It's the opposite way round to me as it doesn't get interesting to the second half when Victor Kennedy comes in. The only things that I don't like about this episode is the Absorbaloft's true identity, when Jackie's constantly calling Elton around and how it's narrated with a webcam. Overall quite controversial, but it gives it 7 out of 10.
Okay, well, that's good.
Matthew Blanks.
Oh, my cousin. Yeah, hello.
Hi, Matt. One word, crap.
All right.
Job done. And lastly, Martin Havel. Hi, Martin.
Hello, Martin.
And he says, I like some elements in the story. The basic idea is really interesting. A group of people affected by the Doctor meet to discuss him. That works. It falls flat when Peter Kay shows up. The monster was based on a design by a 5-year-old. I think they let him write it too. Hopefully Big Finish can one day do a Linda story and give us some proper justice. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Cheers, Mike.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Nice one.
Yeah. So thank you very much for posting on the Big Blue Box Facebook page.
Yeah.
Have you got anything on Geeks?
Well, I have. I'm just looking on Geeks Handbag. There's quite a lot on here, actually. I'm going to just... Because people have really gone to town on this one, which is great. We do love it. But yeah, go on and check out Geeks Handbag for the full comments, because I'm just going to sort of give you the gist of what people said, because they've really written a lot. Firstly, Helen Jones, she says, huge congratulations on episode 50 of the podcast. So thank you very much, Helen.
Cheers, Helen.
She finds it a real mixed bag, and Helen has written quite a lot. So, basically a bit of a mixed bag, pretty much summing up what we said about, it's got some great elements. She's given it a 6 out of 10, and she loves a bit of ELO. So, yeah, we agree with you on that one. Jace Walker, he said, if it weren't for the absorbable off of the side characters, this was made for a decent episode. Oh, wait. So, not sure about that one. Stephen McCullough, aka VoteSaxo7, he left a brilliantly long comment. He basically says it's an abysmal Doctor Who episodes. He really doesn't like it. He's up for a bit of ELO, but basically he's given this 1 out of 5. So, or 1 out of 10, whichever you want to put it. Okay. Kieran Knight just says that ending, and then puts in brackets, runs away in horror.
Ooh, okay.
Jace Howes, considering it had some great guest stars, namely Peter Kay and Mark Warren, the episode for me fails to deliver the goods. Just a bit too silly, but could have been a really good story. Danny L says it's the worst Doctor Who episode. James Birmingham says very underrated. John Gurnhill says the worst episode ever made.
Ooh.
Finn Walsh, it's okay story, mostly an average story in my eyes. It's not bad, but it's not great. He would say it's a bit of a filler episode. He's given it a 6.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Nick Richards just says no and no. It was a good idea to have a Blue Peter competition design a baddie. But basically he's saying the episode is a weak filler. Although, to be fair, anything with Mr. Blue Sky by ELO is a winner. And finally, Harry Westergaard says he likes the concept of it, and I think for the most part the episode works. Yes, the Absorbaloff is a terrible monster, but it was designed by a kid, so you have to cut it some slack. It is. Sorry, forgive my awful accent there, Harry. I don't know why I slipped into that. But it was designed by a kid, so you have to give it some slack. It really isn't really a favourite of mine, but I definitely wouldn't call it the worst episode. So yeah, there were some great comments, and please forgive me for not reading them out in full, because some of you did leave like really long comments, and they're great, and I love reading them. So please continue to do that. So it's always good to get your opinion. I'm just going to sum this up with 3 words, my feelings for this episode after hearing the comments.
Oh.
And those 3 words are a flawed oddity.
A flawed oddity.
That's what I feel it is. It's a flawed oddity.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's, for me, I'm going to sum it up and say that it's a fun episode. It's not meant to be taken too seriously. And I think it does have a couple of little bits that maybe weren't needed. A couple of comments and things here and there, which a lot of people have picked up on. But at the end of the day, it's just a bit of fun.
Okay, yeah.
I would say so.
I do love this song. This song just puts a smile on my face.
It does, doesn't it? It's awesome.
Even now, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And before we wrap up and we get onto the trivia and so on, I just want to say that, thank you very much, guys, for listening to us for 50 episodes now. I know I don't really want to go into the whole achievement and milestone thing, but it is a cool little milestone for us, the big 5-0. So since I started this over a year ago now, and then when Adam jumped on board shortly after, we've had a real cool kind of steady rise in subscribers and listeners and stuff, and that goes up every week, and we've seen it literally every week. It goes up a notch and up a notch. So hopefully for you guys, we're doing something right. So thank you hugely for sticking with us, and thank you very much for taking the time out of your week every week to give us comments and views on our review episode and other stuff. That's one of the things that I love most about chatting with you guys, is all that stuff. So thank you.
Yeah.
And I think we'll wrap there, dude.
Okay.
Made it.
We made it.
Made it to the end.
I'll tell you, I am boiling in this car. I'm absolutely boiling.
We'll get you out
You
of
know
this
what I
soon.
need to do? I need to dive into a swimming pool.
Very good. Very good.
But where is it?
Where is it? Right, it's here. So last week, we said when the Doctor first met Amy, where did he say the swimming pool was? And where did he say the swimming pool was, Adam?
Bizarrely, in the library.
In the library.
God.
Which is very weird, to say the least.
Yeah.
So, who got this right? Let's pick somebody. Kieran Knight.
Oh, well done, Kieran.
Well, Kieran, you popped up on Facebook, so thank you very much. Next week, or this week's question for next week. So, what was the 100th story to be broadcast?
Oh, 100th story.
The 100th story to be broadcast. Just jump onto Twitter or Facebook, give us your answer, and we'll read one of them out, whoever wins at random.
Yeah.
No prizes, but just eternal Doctor Who podcasty glory.
That's it.
Bragging
what more
rights, I
could you
guess.
want?
Yeah. So next week we're going to come back at you with our review episode, which is. What are we doing next week?
No, next week is I was going to say next week I'm on holiday. I'm in the deepest depths of Wales next week. So we're going to be putting out
another commentary.
A commentary, yes, for school reunion.
Yes,
which is fun. So check that out.
Yeah, we did.
You can even.
Yeah, sorry, we did a review of that, didn't we, recently? And so that's going to be a cool commentary.
Yeah, I was going to say you can either listen along with your DVD or just listen to it as a standalone podcast. So that'll be going out next week. And then when I'm back from Wales, if I manage to escape the village, because I am going to where they film The Prisoner, if I manage to escape the village, we'll be back with a podcast the following week, which will be, and I'm really looking forward to this, The Mind Robber, which is a Patrick Trout story. We haven't done a Second Doctor story for a while, have we?
No.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing that one. I'm not sure if have you seen it?
I have a couple of times, yeah.
Oh, you have? Yep. Oh, okay, yeah. So I'm looking forward to chewing the fat on that one with you.
Yes, it's going to be cool.
Yeah.
In the meantime, check out website bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk. You can listen to all the previous episodes on there. Plus, you can jump over to Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram and stuff. Give us a like and a follow. Also, check out Adam's The Geek's Handbag channel on YouTube and his Facebook page. Loads of cool stuff there. Until next time, thank you for joining us for episode 50. My name's Gary.
And my name's Adam.
And remember, Alonzi!